genocide in Gaza into an activist art project that exposed these deadly violations of international law. She created this amazing banner being displayed behind me and titled it "Silencing Palestine's Free Press." Her banner honors nearly 300 Palestinian journalists who have been murdered in Gaza with weapons paid for by our tax dollars, as the United States government and Western media corporations remained silent despite this unprecedented attack on freedom of the press and the brave journalists who make a free press possible. Today, she will share about the artistic and investigative process involved in creating the banner and explain her mission to lift up the heroism of Palestinian journalists covering the genocide in Gaza. With a background in fine art and photography, today's speaker embraces creativity as a tool to advance justice and equity and to address feelings of powerlessness, disconnection, and rage. She joined the weekly Friday Fetterman's Peace Vigil for Gaza this fall after reaching a breaking point over the complicity of Senator Fetterman in funding and defending Israel's U.S.-funded genocide in Gaza. Please give a warm welcome to Julie Wilgus.
Let's see. All right, how's that? Excellent. It likes to go.
It does.
It travels. And thank you to our banner holders. I think it's May and Ira's hidden back there, but they've been doing a great job battling wind. So before I get into talking about the banner and the journalists a bit, I wanted to make a request of all of you. I'm a pretty emotional person, so I will, perhaps you'll see some of that, but if you could meet me where you are, I wanted to also give you permission to be part of this process, because I am up here mourning something, as we all are. And so if your emotions come to the surface, I want to encourage you to just let them be. Our tears and our heartbreak honor those that we've lost. So, and it will encourage me to perhaps stay on my, in my words instead of going into tears. This process began for me over the summer. As Robin said, I reached a threshold in reflecting on the constant stream of news about those we had lost, and I started reflecting on those who were reporting all of the loss. And the further I went into that reflection and investigation, the more devastated I became. And there's only so many letters that we can write to our senators and elected officials, and there's definitely only so many form letters I could receive in response to those. I needed an outlet just to process my rage, and also to visualize and actually be able to begin to comprehend the scope and the magnitude of what is happening in Palestine. It's not just journalists, of course, that are part of this genocide, but there is a media genocide happening. Nowhere else on the planet is it more dangerous to be a journalist than in Gaza. Taking into account World War II and all the wars moving forward, more journalists have been killed in the past 2 years in Palestine than all of those journalists who were killed in all the wars from World War II on. So what these people embark on is not just risky, it is a complete affront to what Israel is doing and to what we are complicit in. And so we're here today to resist our own complicity and to stand with them, and I hope that we will be able to amplify every voice that has been silenced in defiance of what our government is allowing to happen. I will talk for a moment about my process, and then I really want to share about a few of the journalists who have been named here, because it's really them that need to be honored and need to be seen, because they're still with us. Their stories are here. So in order to kind of wrap my head around how to get all the names onto a banner, I decided not to start with the names. I decided I'll keep processing and keep cross-checking, keep verifying, keep researching who we've lost. And in the meantime, I started with the poppies. Poppies are my favorite flower. They're, of course, a symbol of Palestine. And they're also a symbol of, or they represent remembrance for those who have fallen in tragedy, struggling for justice. The one thing in thinking about poppies, particularly the wild poppies of Palestine, they come back every year. They are deeply rooted in their land. They're resilient. They're so incredibly beautiful that they also persist. They do fall back and they do return. And that to me is, I mean, what is more Palestinian than the Palestinian poppy? That land belongs to them, just as Palestine belongs to the Palestinians. So when I got into researching the names, I realized that it was going to be an ongoing process, and unfortunately, I'm not done yet. But as of right now, I only have one name to add, and I just came across this person in the past week, so I thought I would add them here today, so that we can all be a witness to that, and I'll talk about that person in a few moments. But finding all the names and then figuring out how to fit them on the banner has just been an organic process, but I felt like it was really important to have all the names in one place. It serves as a scream from me. It's become a holy, sacred place also. And I do see it as a graveyard, a marker, a mausoleum, to allow them to stand together, be remembered together, and truly hope there's one more that I have to add, and I would love for it to be the last. The process of compiling the names has been a very bizarre ritual that I've entered into, because I'm hoping that I'm wrong with every name I come across. And on the days when I don't find anyone new, it's a relief, and it scares me, because what if not finding a name is evidence of yet another person being silenced? Whew. I'm gonna take some time now to tell you about a few of these journalists. I was mentioning to one of our friends here earlier that I narrowed it down to 7 people, but don't worry, I'm not gonna talk about all 7 right now. I can't do them justice even in this short amount of time, but I am gonna highlight 3 of them. I was very proud of myself for that. 7, though, it was a lot of work just to narrow it down to the 7. And on that note, I really want to encourage you to come close to the banner and look at the names yourself, and maybe take 1 or 2 down on a piece of paper, say them out loud, let the names stay on your tongue. Go home and learn about them. Some of them you won't find a lot of information. Some have left us a great legacy, but in every case, we want to keep that legacy going. I decided with much consternation that I would tell you about the 3 youngest journalists that I've found. Their murders represent a lost generation and the systematic targeting of hope itself by the Israeli Defense Forces. And of course, I will keep reminding us, we are complicit in this. Hassan Hamad was 19 years old. His work appeared in Al Jazeera. He actually wanted to study medicine before October 7th. It redirected his path. He never got to explore that dream of becoming a doctor, and in the days before he was killed, he received threats through WhatsApp and other social media platforms directly from Israeli officers, saying that if he continued to report, they were coming for him. He stopped going home to protect his family and to keep his community out of harm's way to the best of his abilities. But he refused to stop speaking because he needed to keep his family and his community out of harm's way. He was silenced for his bravery and refusal to stop telling the world the truth. "19 is young, and so many of these journalists were in their 20s. The majority of them are very young people. One of the older ones I was going to tell you about is 34. Yakin Hamad was 11 or 12 years old. She was a social media influencer. She had a following of 100,000 people. And on her platform, she shared survival tips, how to boil water safely, and lessons of resilience to keep hope alive. She was killed in May 2025 in her family's shelter. Her whole family was killed, including her teenage brother, who she worked with quite relentlessly, volunteering to support others. Her death was collective punishment, targeting not just hope, but also education. But her legacy is an act of resilience and resistance, because she has left us with so much. The last young person I actually found while looking at information about Yakin, because this aspiring journalist was also 11 years old. Lama Nasar Abad Rasawi would pose herself with a journalist's stance and pace very astutely as she spoke directly to the camera in English, which her mother helped her practice. because she wanted to be Gaza's voice of the future. I have an 11-year-old. I know how proud I am of my 11-year-old. And to think of what this young person sacrificed and what was sacrificed by her family for this dream that she had to change the world. It is unspeakable what was done to her. Her family killed. Lama killed. For daring to care, spread compassion, for daring to demand peace and justice. If an 11-year-old can be so bold and brave, we need to continue showing up. Please take the opportunity to look at these names, to celebrate their life, to uplift them, to demand that foreign journalists be given full access to Gaza. Not access to Gaza with an Israeli Defense Force guardian taking them around. Currently, no foreign press, even the few that have now gotten in just in this past week, are allowed to talk to a Palestinian without a chaperone. That is not free press. The free press has been silenced. The attempt has been made, but Palestinian journalists have not given up, and we need to have their backs. We need to show up, talk to our representatives, be here. Let's not let them be forgotten by making our presence continually known and continually felt. I want to read to you one quote before I step away. If I can get through the paper. This is from the Director General of Reporters Without Borders, Thibaut Bretin. We need to get things moving, to remind ourselves as citizens that journalists are dying for us, to keep us informed. We must continue to count, name, condemn, investigate, and ensure that justice is served. Fatalism should never win. Protecting those who inform us is protecting the truth. Thank you.